my name's Amy, and 2 years ago I became a mum for the first time, something I never thought I'd get to do. This channel, Finding Balance, has come out of my journey to and through motherhood as I navigate my mental health, career and family life going from 1 to 2 kids. I'm a wellbeing practitioner in the NHS, and I wanted to share both my journey and my professional expertise and lived experience in the hope that I can support other new mums. If you like what you see here, please do like, subscribe and share. I don't know about you, but nobody warned me about how much things would change when I became a mum. Like, obviously there would be another being in the house to look after, but we have 2 cats. Surely it would be similar, easier in some ways, as this creature would at some point be able to speak the same language, although April has 0 problems making herself understood. Postpartum blindsided me. Problems that I had considered resolved reared their ugly head. Coping strategies were overwhelmed, and everything about me changed. And I'm not suggesting it was all bad. Some of those changes I really love. I care a lot less now. But it was a really big adjustment, and I just wish someone had warned me. So, what is matrescence? Well, throughout our lives we experience 2 main biosocial events, and that's everyone, male or female. So we have toddlerhood, which takes us from being babies to being children. And then we have adolescence, which takes us from being children to being adults. And biosocial events refers to the changes that we go through both physically and in our environment. So that physical stuff is things like the obvious, like hormones, our body changes, the ways that our brain changes. And the environment is actually just the social roles that we play, what we consider to be important, our identity, but also how other people see us and the responsibilities that are placed upon us. So if we think about, what we'd expect a child to be able to do versus what we'd expect an adolescent to be able to do versus what we'd expect an adult to be able to do. We kind of go through these big changes, have these increase in responsibilities. Now, everyone experiences those 2 main ones, but for those of us that become mothers, we go through another biosocial event. So the term matrescence was coined by anthropologist Dana Raphael as the process of becoming a mother, the developmental passage where a woman transitions through preconception, pregnancy and birth, surrogacy or adoption to the postnatal period and beyond. And this period of matrescence can last anywhere from 2 to 5 years, I think. It's a pretty long period of time. Now, I do think there probably needs to be a separate term for new fathers, because they do also experience some profound social and hormonal changes in this period, though not maybe quite to the same extent as those that carry a pregnancy might. What's the point of all this? What's the point of all of those changes? Well, it's all about evolution, and it's priming the brain to readily acquire new knowledge and skills that will help you understand and connect with your offspring to help them thrive. There we go, we've ensured the survival of our species. So according to Orchard et al., those changes represent a permanent change across the lifespan. And what I find really interesting actually is that this journey starts from preconception. Like, at some point you've decided that you want to be a parent, or you become aware of your body clock ticking and go, oh, I probably need to make a decision about that. Or, for others it's a happy accident and you go, oh, I'm pregnant. Let me think about what it means to be a mum. Do I want to keep this pregnancy? For me, I think my journey of matrescence started with the experience of becoming an auntie, weirdly, at 18. So prior to that, I'd had 0 interest in having babies. But when I held my niece for the first time, oh my goodness, I just felt this rush of emotion and love, and I started to get to know her. I started to wonder what my own children would be like. So I had this shift in identity from being anti-kid to pro-kids. So that's kind of like maybe one of the first social changes that I experienced. Now, let's be honest, at 18, I was in no position to bring children into the world. Not only was I still basically a kid myself, I also suffered with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I needed to focus on my mental health so I could seek out healthy relationships, which I don't think I was ready for another 8 years. If you've tried to navigate the mental health system in the NHS, you'll know why this took so long. I say that kindly as someone that works in the mental health system in the NHS. But also I think it's important to recognise I had to be ready for therapy and to take responsibility for myself. So even though it wasn't my fault that I was struggling, I was the one that needed to change my coping strategies and the way that I saw things and the way that I processed things. So back to Matresence, we're just going to fast forward to me and my husband deciding to have kids. We were both ready, but my body, after 29 years of trying to not get pregnant, was taking its sweet time. In fact, it took a little over a year to get pregnant, and that's actually really normal. After a year, we did sort of get some tests done, but before those test results came back, we actually did fall pregnant naturally. And what was interesting was we lost the first pregnancy around 6 weeks, and again, that's much more common than people realise. My body's never done this before. It doesn't know what to do with an egg and an embryo. And for many women, that first miscarriage might pass by completely unnoticed. But for other women who are actively trying, you might be much more aware of that loss. And so for me, that initial loss did reinforce that I really do want to have kids. Okay, so a month later, we're pregnant with our first child. My body is undergoing so many changes in a fight between the needs of my body and the needs of the baby, and I call it a fight. That's how the literature describes it. It's like this tug of war between the mum's need for certain nutrients and the child's like, you might lose teeth if you don't eat enough calcium. What? Anyway, I didn't lose teeth. That was fine. So basically on this channel I'll be exploring in some more depth the different elements of the matrescence journey, but safe to say it propelled me and my family into a whole new stage of our lives where for the past 7 years my husband, such a loyal man, has followed me around the country, helping me to achieve my dreams to become a mental health professional. And I don't know what happened, but after having kids, suddenly those dreams meant a whole lot less to me. I wasn't that bothered. Any job that could get me enough money to survive and hang out with my kids and have a good work-life balance, that was what I wanted. So basically, we're in that stage of life where actually I'm thinking it's time that we prioritise my husband's dreams. So since before I met him, he has wanted to live and work in Sweden, and he actually had a job lined up, like had been through the interview process, was about to go through the visa process in Sweden. And so this channel is going to follow us and our journey through matrescence and also onto life in Sweden. The other thing that I noticed has become really important to me in the past few years is my gardening journey. I love seeing my eldest learn where his food comes from, pottering about the garden, seeing everything grow. Yep, that's the potato. Onto the bucket. Can you see any more? So good at finding them. So if you're kind of interested in this intersection of mental health, gardening, motherhood and living in a new country, we've got a lot to explore here. Do subscribe and follow along for more, and I'll see you next week, friends. Hej da!